Na, das wissen wir doch jetzt. Ah, Schneemann, geh mal weg. Geh mal weg. Nein, 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 nein. Nein, geh mal weg. Komm, Schneemann, geh mal weg. Schneemann. Hey, geh weg. Schneemann. Nein. Hm? Komm, da. So, while the little puppies are now having their lunch, including this one here, I can show you something what the rain left us with. So let's leave them alone, and I can show you this. We have a full pond. So that is rainwater, and probably also what has been seeping in from all around. So this pond is now well filled. So even that area here that is less deep has standing water, which is good. So we're getting there. And I feel sorry for all the people around here that rely on a dam and a water reservoir, because most of the water reservoirs that are used for irrigation and also provide the water for the villages, they are only some 20-something% filled. And maybe with the last rain that has changed and improved a bit, but I very much doubt so. So it looks like number 8 wants to go for a swim. Let's see what she does. So he's curious. They can swim, obviously. All dogs can. But they don't like to do this. But if they have to, then they do it. There in the background, you can hear them growling again. And as you can see, it's Schneeflocke. Yeah, deep waters, still waters are deep. Okay, but that is just one other thing. So, as you can see, this is definitely now a pond. And if we had more plants all around, there will be more trees over time, then of course it would be great for them. Maybe we get more rain and it will fill, and if it does, then there's an overflow in that direction. And I want you to take to our new wetland that I mentioned the last time, which is over there. So let's go there. So let's go and explore the wetland. And it's kind of a constructed wetland. Not quite, but that term came to my mind. And maybe over time it becomes just that. So here it begins. So we have our grey water pond. And as you can see, it is pretty well filled. And let's have a look at those two pipes there. One is functional. That is where our grey water comes into this pond. And the other was from a previous attempt. And well, you can hear the frogs jumping when I move around here. It's hard to catch the moment, but there's jumping everywhere. So there we are, and you can see that this is basically filled to the max. So more doesn't really fit in here, because then it will flow into the pipe. And we put these pipes there thinking about the maximum level. And I'm trying to maybe catch a frog jumping. No, they have already jumped. Okay, so let me walk around here. Oh, there was another one that I didn't catch. So here is the trench, and somewhere there you can see it, is the pipe that comes from the outflow of the water reservoir. So this pipe is still moving water. Now that we have sun, this might actually be pumping into here. So what you see is the result of the rain and the pumping, and you see this is very well filled. There on the other side you can see that. So the vetiver is definitely standing in water, and I will show you that over there in a detail in a moment. And let's explore more of this. So there are the fox jumping, I guess you could now see this. So this is all very well filled and it's clean. So let's follow this so that you have a very good impression of our wetland. And I hope the peach trees don't mind to have that much moisture. And I hope it's good for them. The water is clear, you can see the bottom there. So that's a positive thing. So there's a lot of activity and life in there. And of course the vetiver helps to keep it clean. You can see how well this is filled here. And the very interesting thing is, all this on that side is now populated with a lot of plants because we have a lot of water right next to it. Usually this is not filled, but I'm forcing it to be filled to the brim all the time, and therefore all this is now thriving and it's working out very well. And I did mention that before, the area here to the right should also be transformed. This is another project, and now that we're doing this volunteer thing to plant a Miyawaki forest, there is a lot of other projects where people can also participate to learn about this, lend us a hand and have a good time. Because here on that side we can do something with vetiver to build little corals out of vetiver. So vetiver is basically the fence, and we can move the water a little bit up and then let it flow down so that eventually it ends up in these trenches here. Yeah, there are many things that we can do. So here it is all very lush. So you can see it's going to my knees. And let me loop around here, come to the other side and show you our wetland. The Palovnia trees here, they are dormant. So here it begins. So now I'm basically here on the shore of our little lake. What has been growing here before is now submerged. Of course this will fall dry again, but who knows. So right now, as we don't need the water for something else, I keep this hose pumping water from down below, and this is an interesting experiment to see how this will then change over time because of all that moisture. You see, so basically the ground is now saturated, and we keep adding, so whatever flows away underground or gets taken up by the plants will quickly be replenished, and also evaporation. So we'll see how this will behave. So for the time being there is no plan to take away that water supply, and of course this will change when we need the irrigation, but we should have plenty to maybe not keep it as moist and filled as you see right now. But then of course the idea is to also store a lot of the water inside of the soil where it belongs, and that should then help this area to be moist over summer. So the water in the soil, so my thinking is like having a tank, is free of evaporation, and therefore that's the best way to store water, right there in the soil. But then of course it needs to have the right composition, so that water storage is actually possible. If it is sandy, it will flow away and turn into concrete, and that's not what we want. So here, this is quite interesting. So this is like a dam, so that berm is holding it, but it's pretty much at the top of what is possible. So any more water will certainly lead to an overflow here. This seems to be the lowest point. The vetiver is certainly happy. It's a swamp plant, swamp grass anyway, and it's very flexible, which is why it can grow in dry ground with enough moisture, and it can also be in standing water. My intention is to loop around, and I'm sorry that right now the sun is hidden behind the cloud. Oh, see here, this is definitely extremely wet. So you see, I have an actual swamp, and it continues here on the other side. You can see that it's shimmering there, and I'm pretty sure on the other side of that it's pretty much the same. And after all, there's this old well which they created here on a purpose. Because of that, so you see, this is definitely a swamp here, a wetland, like I said. So I wasn't lying. Let's see how this looks like here. So I remember that once, after very heavy rain, we had water flowing out in that direction under that gate. So now it's not flowing out, but it found another escape route. So I'm very happy with all these things that I am showing you. So before I open that gate and go out, I want to show you how this looks like here on the other side, because the trench begins here, and here it is not completely filled, but there is still standing water. You can see it there. And here it's not dry, but it is not as filled as on the other side. But definitely, if I would step into this, my boots would be in water here in this area. This seems to be a little bit higher. So yeah, this is very good. Just the way I wanted it to become. So I'm happy with my experiment. Of course, a lot of trees are missing, and in subsequent iterations there will be more trees. And I think we are simply doing this in cooperation, collaboration actually, with Life Terra. They provide the plants, and we do a project and plant them. And then this can be filled properly. And the good thing is they also provide the consulting, so they can tell us what we should have, basically by providing the right plants. Okay, you see, there are the frogs jumping. Quite a few. So let's see what that pipe's doing. So you can see that this definitely is actively filling. I think I keep it that way. It makes a nice sound. So now I think I am going out. and look over the wall there, the fence, to show you also an impression from the neighbor's land. Nothing is going on there. So since the tenant left, this place has been vacant and there's no activity. So we can call this it's resting, which is okay. So let's open this here. See, I'm playing YouTuber again, but I only have my handheld camera, so you can only see my hand. Okay, so now I'm out, and again, this is the area where it is extremely wet, and therefore all kinds of things, including that one here, are growing. So let's peek over here. The rest is looking very nice, and see, there is standing water. You can see it now that the sun comes back out. So this area is definitely improving because of that. But then there's nobody to graze it off either. The last time I showed you this well, we found a snake inside. It was submerged. Let's have a peek what we can find this time. Well, there's definitely something, because these things down there, they moved. So, not so interesting. But we are definitely in springtime now, and I hope we get more rain. This is our area A7, where Life Terra will help us to plant 28,000 saplings. And if you're interested in lending us a hand, then you are invited as a volunteer. We will provide transportation from airport or train station and provide you the food, a room to sleep, either in a hotel if you choose this, or in our cortijo, or you can pitch a tent and get all the services that you need for that. We will have a shower available and of course a toilet. And while we are planting, there will be catered lunch, and later we can go and visit a bar if you still have energy left that you would like to spend. So you are invited to help us, probably for a week or two or maybe 3, to get these 28,000 saplings into the ground. The event will start on April 9th. You can arrive on the Sunday before, that will be April 8th, and you can stay for as long as you like. And we definitely do appreciate your help, and we will answer in kind by feeding you well and hopefully making you happy. So mark the date and send an email to the address shown here, and then we will coordinate this. I can also show you a little bit of this here. So we are still waiting on a few bits and pieces to fall into place, and then things will move quickly now. But you can see that this has grown a bit. Of course, it's all the garbage from another place. But you see where this white string is attached here. That is how high it has to be eventually. So there's quite a bit of material still needed, and it also has to come more in that direction. So there are many scoops of material that needs to be placed here before we can have 2 containers and a roof between them. But it's in the working, and for right now we think that 1 container to start with, the one there, is enough. And you can probably see, if I move a bit, the footer that we built, and probably next week there will be another one, and then this is ready to receive the container. And in a while, once the container has been placed, there should also be good soil here on that side, and on the other side there where the trees are. And then that berm, or yeah, that slope, should be secured with vetiver the same way as we did there on that platform. So basically we have a terracing system here with 2 levels, and then the 3rd level where I'm standing. And probably we will modify that fence. I can see that we are going to do this, but not in the immediate future. But this could be reshaped a little bit.